You guys, don't you love to hear that music? I do, because that means it's go time. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Oh, I see Beth Bear. Indeed. Prayers for Florida. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Good morning. No, did you miss the live? The Nectar Hair Studio? No, we're live now. Good morning, everybody. This is Don Lemon. This is Hot Topics, the Don Lemon Show. Don Lemon from New York. Where are you this morning? Rockin' Rob says, another beautiful day here in North Carolina, in NC. Good morning. Big ups from Minnesota. Moi, says Sino. Good morning. Good morning. Watching from Racine, says Bettina Lester. Oh, that's great. It's my birthday, Jacqueline L. Good morning. Happy birthday, everybody. Say happy birthday to Jacqueline L. Houston is in the house. Wow, the names are going by really fast, but let's see who's in the house. I can look at Photog 14 here from San Jose, California. Mark Nixon, good day from Denmark, all over the world. Nabby Child says, Elimination, thumbs up. Good morning, good morning. Hi, HK Don, Hell's Kitchen, is that right? Glad you are back. I am, thank you. Hello from Oklahoma, says Cecilia Coleman. Long Island, says Anna Shrillo. I know you hate it when people say that. Chicago here. Well, we have people from everywhere. Bronx in the house, HBW. So glad you're here. Hi from Summer Virgo 81 is from Chicago. Good morning from Baltimore, Ajax. Good morning, Baltimore. Do you guys know that one? Memphis, says Tammy Lewis. South Africa, Joe Coco. Okay, good morning, everybody. I got to tell you, it's so weird. Like, I bump into people all the time. It's just sort of a, can we talk this morning? Can we talk? Because I always tell the producers, I'm like, are you ready? Do we have this? Do we have that? And then I say, let's just go because I'm just going to take the show wherever. And then finally they just go, yeah, let's stop talking about this and let's just go. It's 3 minutes after 10. We got to go. Okay, so now we're 7 minutes after and we're on. So here's what's happening. Hi, Dallas, Texas. Good morning, Miss P. Good morning, everybody. Did you guys say happy birthday to, I should forget her name. Anyway, so it's a weird sort of transition for me. And, you know, people still say, hey, Don, hey, CNN, whatever, I miss you, whatever. But now people are like, hey, I'm part of Elimination. It's really, I love it. It's different. People are like, I saw what you did on Piers Morgan. You called him out or whatever. You're going viral. I'm like, okay. Someone else said something else about seeing something on the show. And it was just, I mean, I just like it because people see me in public and they associate us now with Elimination and still CNN, but Elimination coming up. Like CNN here, Elimination is like about here. It's really great. And I get recognized all the time and people say hello. So I'm so happy that you're here this morning. By the way, I'm going to tell you, I'm a little hungover this morning, just a little bit. You know, at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, or maybe 10 o'clock at night, you probably shouldn't have 3 margaritas. Give me 1 margarita. I'm not going to do that. I had 3 margaritas last night because I told you I was going to the Pharrell movie, Piece by Piece, the premiere and screening here in New York City. It was fantastic, by the way. And I'll give you a breakdown of all of it. But I went, I saw Pharrell, I hung out with the people in the movie. It was really, 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 really fun, okay? So welcome everybody. We have a host of hot topics to discuss this morning. Pharrell Williams film premiere, Donald Trump's growing signs really of cognitive decline. Everyone talks about, oh my gosh, you know, Joe Biden is in cognitive decline. Kamala Harris, I don't like the way she answers questions. But are they paying attention to Donald Trump? Are they paying attention to Donald Trump? Thank you, Teen Signs. 831 and then 230 likes. We got to get the likes up, okay? So we're going to talk about that. However, we got to start with an update on the state of things down in Florida, in the state of Florida, right? As you may know now, Hurricane Milton, it made landfall. It was a massive Category 3 storm. It happened at 8:30 p.m. yesterday evening near Siesta Key, Florida. That's where it made landfall, near Siesta Key, Florida. What is that like? And I've ever heard of Siesta Key? Let me know if you have. I haven't heard of it. I've never been there. So overnight, Milton crossed the Sunshine State, moved out to sea this morning. Really fast, right? Florida's long, but it's not that wide, right? Or thick or whatever you want to call it. So it went right across pretty fast if you look at where it cut. You had all the usual signs of the folks who are out there covering it and stuff blowing around. I don't know why. It's just, and I used to do it, but who knows. 4 deaths have been confirmed in St. Lucie County. That's on Florida's Atlantic coast. That's where the officials said that the tornadoes touched down. Remember, there were all those warnings of tornadoes yesterday. Well, they touched down. And as of now, again, we don't know. The damage hasn't all been assessed. It looks like the tornadoes we don't know yet. I'm just saying until they figure it all out, may have caused most of the damage and the deaths there because those tornadoes were horrific. Tragically, though, we should say that we should expect the death toll to increase. And it may increase a great deal. So there were some 11 million people who were at risk of flash and river flooding. Record number of tornadoes caused widespread damage yesterday. And currently, more than 3.3 million Floridians are without power, right? There was a reality MTV show from Siesta Key some years ago, says Summer Virgo 81. Oh, interesting. West coast of Florida is nice, says Winston Sawyer. Praying for a speedy recovery for Floridians, says Brittany 101. So great. Yes, I was in Siesta Key in May. Beautiful beach, beach shops. That's from Beth H. Little Cares restaurants. Must probably meant cafes near Sarasota. Great. Okay. So we hope that the folks there in Siesta Key and everywhere that they are going to fare well. Unfortunately, so far, 4 deaths. It's expected to go up. Hopefully, it doesn't. Currently, more than 3.3 million Floridians are without power. However, relief workers are already on their way there. President Joe Biden pre-deployed thousands of federal personnel to areas affected by the storm, including more than 1,000 Coast Guard members. So there's lots to discuss. Let's give you a breakdown on what happened with Milton. Tell me where you are. If you're in the affected area, just let me know. So let's give a breakdown of what happened. This is from our friends over at Morning Joe on the MSNBC.
In this hour again with Hurricane Milton, which devastated Florida's west coast, bringing life-threatening storm surge, flash flooding, and strong winds. At this hour, Milton is a Category 1 storm, now moving off the coast on the east side of Florida. The hurricane hit the state with a number of catastrophic tornadoes that destroyed some 125 homes. At least 2 people were killed as a result. And take a look at this video. This is Tropicana Field, home to the Tampa Bay Rays.
Look at this.
You can see, wow, Milton blew off a portion of the roof. Looks like just about all of it. The stadium was being used as a shelter for first responders who were helping with storm relief. My gosh. Last hour, we learned Tampa. There were more than 100 rescue calls overnight, and at least 15 people were saved from a single home, including several children. Extreme winds also tore down trees, flipped over cars, and blew over a crane into a building in St. Petersburg. So far, at least 3 million homes and businesses remain without power across the state of Florida.
Look at that damage. Look at that damage.
From Orlando is NBC News correspondent
Okay, so we want to play some of the damage for you. Let's first up, and we're just going to go through it because I want you guys to see it, and I want you guys, you're appreciated, says Freedom Montgomery. Thank you. You're appreciated as well. Martin Hajduck says, my friend said she was okay in Orlando. That's great. Smash that like button, y'all, says Tahoon Anderson. Right on, Tahoon. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hi, everyone from Jacksonville, Florida. Hello, guys. So let me know. Stay safe, Florida, please, says Yodon. Tornadoes are quite powerful, says Linda Freca. They are. But I want to know, though, for sure, like, if you're there, what's going on, and, how you guys are faring. If you have friends and family there, let us know how they're doing, okay? Yeah, it is so scary, Toy B. I agree with you 100%. Remember, I like to talk to my subscribers, so if you like interaction in the immediate interaction with the subscribers, this is the place to be. My people in Tampa are safe, thank God, says Sin O. We're happy for them, so thank God. Was Orlando hit, Nana Pants? I don't think it was hit hard. Okay, so let's go to, this is Palm Beach Gardens, storm aftermath. Let's take a look at Palm Beach Gardens, storm aftermath. Look at this. Ooh, man, oh man, oh man. Man, oh man, oh man. Wow. 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 You guys, we're going to play that again, Nikki. But I just want people to look at how the wind, it just flipped these cars over. I'm sure it moved them. Probably wasn't even where they were at the time. That's why, man, you want to leave. When they say leave, when they say get out, get out. Now that looks to be the damage from a tornado. Look, I'm not a meteorologist. I don't know, but that when stuff is moved around like that, because usually wind doesn't blow cars like that unless it's part of a tornado, or if it's floodwaters. Floodwaters will just take anything away. Floodwaters are the worst. Okay, 15-foot storm surge video. 15 feet. Can you believe that? So watch. This is normal, right? On a rainy day, and just watch the progression here. Watch the progression as it continues. Look at that. Starts to move up. Look at the storm surge. Look at this. And you want to stay around for that? Look. This is why they believe that there may be more deaths unless people really got out. Look at this. How do you? Wow. Even if you are a strong swimmer, that's basically unsurvivable because it's pushing you around. It's going to knock you into something. You may get an electrical line. You may, hit a, thank you, Carmen Rosada Benitez. I appreciate it. You may get, like hit a telephone pole, a fire hydrant, you get conked. So that's why you should get out. Look at this. Can you imagine being stuck in that? And just the sound of the wind and the water just swirling and roaring and rolling. Yeah, not good for anybody, Winston Sayer. You're right on for that. 15-foot storm surge. This is incredible video that I want to show you. This is from the eye of the hurricane. It was taken up from an aerial view of the eye of the hurricane. It's fascinating when you get to see stuff like this because they're taking you up in a plane that goes through the eye of the hurricane, and it's just fascinating to see. Look at that. Yeah. Yeah. Right on. I think that's amazing to witness. Did you guys notice that, I don't know if you've ever been through a storm or through a hurricane, that the sky will quickly change colors, right? And the sky turned purple. Take a look at this photograph. The sky turned purple. Many, many people are sending up their photographs and their videos of the sky yesterday turning purple. This was taken right before Milton made landfall. No filter, the entire sky was purple. And it's true, this is real. There's actually video of the sky turning purple as well. And
the sky is literally purple.
Beautiful to look at, pretty scary to be in the middle of. Again, I just want to take you through some of these things. Now remember Lieutenant Dan, right? People were worried about the guy who was out in his boat, right? So I just want to show you some things, right? Now, there's video of a boat. Don, check on the house. Check on the house, I don't know what that means. Why is the sky purple? It has something to do with the cooler winds. There was an explanation for it this morning. I don't know for sure, but something about the cool air coming through and the water and whatever, and it just sort of changes, probably light refraction, all kinds of things. Purple rain, says Kelly Galimba. That's right. You're right about that. Purple haze, says Ashanti. Yes, so I'm sure someone will explain it to us in the chat. Amazing phenomenon, says Linda Furker. So remember Lieutenant Dan. Now, that was a guy who was out yesterday, right? Some people were saying he was homeless and all of that stuff or whatever. The one-legged sailboat dwelling Florida man nicknamed Lieutenant Dan, he is okay after riding out the hurricane in Tampa Bay, despite the mayor insisting that he go to a shelter ahead of the powerful storm. Now, the sailor who went viral for refusing to abandon his ship never left his boat in which he lives as Milton swelled to a Category 5 hurricane before making landfall south of Tampa at Category 3, all right, with 120 miles per hour. So the mayor there, her name is Jane Castor, claimed that Tampa police saved Lieutenant Dan during a press conference on Wednesday afternoon. However, the mayor seems to have been misinformed because Dan never left. He rode out that storm in his boat. He appeared to be fine this morning. Now, I want to show you. Some people are saying that this is his boat being tossed around last night. But I don't know if it is his boat or not, but that is a boat being tossed around. I mean, that ship is being tossed, right? And then I think there's more video that we have of possibly his or not. I'm not sure, but anyway. So there's video of him on his boat this morning. Do we have Dan on his boat?
Hey, how you doing?
How are you doing? How's the ride?
The water's gone.
Yeah, it's going out into the water. It's going out, being pulled out.
Yeah. See? See right there?
How are you doing? No problems?
Huh?
Was it as bad as you thought?
No. Is the water coming back in or still going out?
It's going out.
All right, I got
All right, you hang in there.
All right, you guys be safe. Talk to you tomorrow.
You too.
So that was him on his boat this morning. Now that video before, I don't know, his boat did have a mast. I mean, it's a sailboat. And so I think in that picture, in the video of him, I think we saw a mast. I don't know if we saw it in the other boat, but anyways, whatever. We know that he stayed on the boat. He was being tossed around. Now the thing is, remember what I told you about, you got to sort of dig into these stories, and you got everything with, I always say a grain of salt, grain of salt. I'm going to get like a grain of salt. That's going to become one of our segments, a grain of salt, because there were some issues with him. Some people said, I don't know if there's some issues or some preconceived notions or whatever about him, that he was homeless or whatever. But there is a TikTok explaining, and it's true, we did the research, exactly who Captain Lieutenant Dan is and what's going on with him. He's not as to, what people made him out to be in the beginning. Yes, he is blessed. He's fortunate. We're glad that he's still here. But there was this whole story about him, and then he apparently now he's raising money off of this. And whatever. You take a look. You be the judge. We'll report. You decide.
This man has a GoFundMe with over $20,000 in it. He's not homeless. Period. He lives on a boat. Except for the short year that he spent in prison for beating a EMT with a violin. His GoFundMe is under a different name than the one that he's using in the daily press and the one that he was arrested in. So it's really hard to tell who exactly he is. But what I have found is that his Facebook page lists himself as a digital creator. That's right, a digital creator. He lives in Palm Beach, knowing that there was going to be a storm. He anchored himself to the worst place in all of Tampa. The worst place. From where he anchored, there are 4 marinas. The Hillsborough River, a short jaunt, like literally not even 700 feet from where he's anchored, would have been a safer location to put his boat. He was offered hotels. He was offered homes. He has clearly made $20,000 in a GoFundMe. All of this for internet clout. Meantime, there are people who are homeless in Tampa, in St. Pete, Clearwater area. There are people who are infirm, who are gravely ill, who have no cars, who cannot leave, who do not have options, and those people have my sympathies. Those are the people that deserve our sympathy. not people who have decided that they want to chase clout on the internet, not people who have $20,000 in a GoFundMe that they started 3 weeks ago, not people who came to Tampa to make a point, not people who chase internet fame.
Winston Sayer brings up a very good point. Is he a performance artist? Is he chasing clout? Is he a content creator who's from Palm Beach and then went there just for the clicks and the attention? Grain of salt, right? I'm not saying, look, he deserves to live his life, to be safe during the hurricane, whatever it is. But before people send money and fall for it, you got to know what's going on behind the scenes, because there's a lot of grift out here, especially from the MAGA folks, especially from the person in charge of MAGA, taking his own supporters' money to pay for his legal bills, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You got to know. Donate to victims of the storm, not for stunts. Be present. Yes. So there you go. Okay. Speaking of, we're talking about grifters and MAGA and all of that, and people who will fall for anything. Now remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene and others have been saying, right, you know, the Democrats, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, are controlling the weather, basically saying they're controlling this weather to, you know, and hurricanes to hit red states in Florida to hurt red state voters. It just so happens that they, you know, they've got the weather just to go and hit all of the, you know, southern states that are generally red states. It's crazy. We know that. But the thing is that if Democrats are smart enough, right, and evolved enough and savvy enough and scientisty enough, I know that's not a word, to be able to control the weather, then why can't Republicans do it? Someone else asked that question, and I thought it was a pretty good one. And I was like, yeah, I've been wondering that too. Here it is.
So, quick question. Why can't conservatives control the weather? Do you not know how? Nobody show you how to do it? Can't figure out how to work the clicker? Or is it like a, no, we could totally do it, we just don't want to type of thing? I am not going to vote for a side that can't even make a simple hurricane during hurricane season. Oh no, what are y'all going to do? Not send a hurricane at me?
I love going on social and finding these things because just everyday people come up with the best things. I've been thinking the same thing. Like, okay, then get smart and try to control the weather. If you actually believe that, Marjorie Taylor Greene, if you actually believe that, MAGA, then get your folks on it. Fight back. Fight back. You can't work the clicker? You can't, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you can't work the clicker and you haven't figured out how to go into the settings on your Jewish space laser and control the weather to hit the blue states? Come on, New York City's a big place. You could, come on, Marjorie. That's just how idiotic it is. So let's have a weather off, a challenge, right? Ashanti, let's have a weather off. Let's see who can get in control of their Jewish space lasers and start controlling the weather. Get your clicker fixed, Marjorie and others. I'm just saying, you're right. Call Jasmine Crockett. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we'll have them like going, oh, yeah, no, storm here. Oh, no. Look, I'm not making light of the hurricane. I'm fun of the craziness that these people think that something like that is happening. You know what I really like, though? You can say whatever you want to say about Joe Biden. I like the man. I think he's a very decent man. I think he's smart. I think he's going to go down as one of the best presidents, if not the best president in modern history, considering all his accomplishments and the headwinds, right? I think he's going to, and look what he ushered in, the first black woman president. First black woman on the Supreme Court. All the things. He is not, he doesn't get sucked into the politics of it all, into playing politics with people's lives. You heard what he said yesterday. We're not, red states or blue states. We're the United States of America, and we can do anything, and we're going to be there for whatever. Someone tried to pull him into this political thing by saying, hey, Ron DeSantis won't take the vice president's call. He's so deft at this. He's like, yes. When I saw it, I was like, no, that's how you handle it. He was just like, thought about it for a second, ignored the question, and then had this answer. Watch.
Mr. President, does Governor DeSantis need to take Vice President Harris's calls?
All I can tell you is I'm talking to Governor DeSantis. He's been very gracious. He's thanked me for all we've done. He knows what we're doing, and I think that's important.
Thought about it. All I'll say is this. I've spoken to Ron DeSantis. He's been very gracious. We spoke on the phone. He took my calls. We told him everything that we're doing, and he's very thankful for it. And that's all that matters. Right? Sarah Habib and Miranda. Facts. Those are facts. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's all he did. And that's all that needed to be said. Next question. That is how a president should conduct himself. Now, you want to talk about how a president shouldn't conduct himself. And he says, then they say Joe Biden has cognitive issues. Okay, what about Trump's cognitive issues? This president, President Donald Trump, who boasted about this week his success in life as a result of being really smart, he communicates at the lowest grade level of the last 15 presidents. Did you hear that? He communicates at the lowest level of the last 15 presidents. That is according to a new analysis of the speech patterns of presidents going back to Herbert Hoover. Okay, so let's talk more about Trump's decline. President Donald Trump has been boasting that he's really smart, but his speech patterns are the lowest at any grade level going back to Herbert Hoover. Okay? The analysis assessed the first 30,000 words each president spoke in office and ranked them from the Flesch-Kincaid grade level scale and more than 24 other common tests analyzing English language difficulty levels. Trump clocked in around mid-4th grade. Now look, this is a study, and I'm not lying. I'm not just hitting the Trump. He clocked in about mid-4th grade, the worst since Harry Truman, who spoke at a nearly 6th grade level. Now, who do you think were at the top of the list? At the top of the list were, you want to take a guess before I tell you? Okay, I'll tell you. At the top of the list were Herbert Hoover and Jimmy Carter. They were basically at an 11th grade level. President Barack Obama in 3rd place with a high 9th grade level of communicating with the American people. The findings, along with several recent rambling speeches from Trump, have reignited concerns about the former president's apparent cognitive decline. So we like evidence on this program, right? You guys said Obama. Obama was up there, high 9th grade, but Hoover and Carter were at 11th grade, and they're communicating with the American people. Okay? So again, we like facts on this show. So this is Trump in Pennsylvania calling Harris a liar and not himself. Delusion. Let's go.
To happen, the people of Pennsylvania have to tell Kamala Harris that we've had enough. We think you're a horrible person.
Can we pause this, please?
We think you're a liar.
Okay, so thank you. So this is his cognitive decline and his delusion altogether. The reason I pause it is because now this is the President of the United States. He's giving a speech. The former President of the United States giving a speech. Look at the screen, please. Look at the screen. Text Trump to this number. Get up to $15,000 in free gold and silver. Okay. Anyway, he's calling Harris a liar. Do we know about Donald Trump? Keep going, please.
And right? We think you're a liar. We think you're not a smart person, and we're tired of having stupid people run our country.
Right now, this is the, let's take the rhetoric down candidate. Yes, Don, bring those receipts, Don, says Bridget. I love to bring the receipts. You guys want more receipts? Would you like some more receipts? Let me know if you want more receipts, because I'll bring it to you. His decline and his delusion. Now, he's really, really, really mad at the people who accepted and did interviews with Vice President Kamala Harris. He's like, when he gets mad, if something is good, like people liked her interviews. So what does he do? He attacks the interviewers, right? But he attacks people but he's smart. He attacks people with names, famous people, so that it'll get headlines. Right? It's all a grift and a game. Okay, yes, I see you guys want more evidence. He's not happy with Whoopi. He's not happy that the vice president went on The View. And so who's the biggest name on The View? It's Whoopi. And so then you have some BS like this. Here it is.
I'm making a movie.
Delusion.
Would you be in it? I said, in what capacity? Just a walk-on. You're so great. Would you do I did a walk-on for Whoopi Goldberg. Now she says, I refuse to mention his name. You know what? Politics can do strange things to demented people. Now, I've hired Whoopi to work for me as a comedian before this stuff, and a long time ago. And I went, and, I'm not particularly shy about what I hear. Her mouth was so foul, every word out of her mouth was like the F word, this. I was with a group of people, like sort of nice people, and we had to leave. She was so filthy dirty, disgusting, half the place left. I said I'd never hire her again, but she was so dirty. Every word was filthy dirty, and I left. And then I see her sitting about, oh, Whoopi, oh, what a loser she is.
Now, again, why? Why does he care about what Whoopi Goldberg says about him? And he has nerve. He has nerve to talk about her language and being foul, and he just called her deranged, I believe, in that clip. Am I correct? He just called her deranged. And then in the clip before that, he called the vice president stupid. Whoopi uses foul words. Okay. You should be in my house when my mom came home and there were clothes still left in the dryer or dishes in the sink or our beds weren't made or we didn't, especially like on a Saturday morning, you better get your you-know-what out of bed and clean this you-know-what house. So he called her demented, right? You better get your you-know-what. What do you think? I'm not your blanket maid. I'm not Hazel the maid, for anybody who knows that. I'm not even Alice on the Brady Bunch. Clean this you-know-what house. Okay. Whoopi says foul words. So does he. So do I. If you ever worked in the newsroom, you come up with some doozies. High pressure. Right? Mine too. Does your mom have my mom has a potty mouth. And I love those words. Sometimes you need them. Okay, so he's mad at Whoopi. That's his delusion and cognitive decline. Because, he says some doozy of a words. Remember, shithole countries, NBA players, sons of bitches. I mean, those are nice words for they're coming out of his mouth. He attacks the people with the biggest names and the most famous because what? He wants the headline, he thinks it's great, blah, blah, blah. So he was, remember, he was buddy friends with Howard Stern. He was on his show many times. Howard Stern was at his wedding. They were very friendly. And now, because Howard Stern calls out his delusion, his cognitive decline, his lies, his racism, now he hates him because he's saying the truth about him. So now, Trump says, okay, well, now I got to talk about Howard Stern because she did a good interview over on Howard Stern, and Howard Stern treated her fairly. Here he is.
Oh, these guys are so bad. A big part of our problem in this country are those people right back there. Big part of our problem. We need a free and fair press badly, desperately. I watched the way they asked questions of Kamala yesterday. Howard Stern, he's a weak guy. He's weak. He's going, what about, It was so ridiculous. Even she was embarrassed. It was like softball. But all of them. Howard, I knew him very well. I was on his show many times. I used to think he was good. Then I dropped him. And I dropped him like a dog. And his ratings are very challenged, but...
None of that's true. First of all, he didn't drop Howard Stern. Howard Stern dropped him. Howard's like, I don't want this guy. I don't have anything to do with this guy. Right? Howard dropped him. And Howard's ratings, the whole reason that there is a Sirius XM, that they're still in business, it's because of Howard Stern. If there was no Howard Stern, there would be no Sirius. If there was no Howard Stern, if he wasn't on there, I wouldn't have a subscription. I have it because of Howard. And guess what? I don't even get to listen to Howard that much anymore. I just have so much going on. When I was in the car, I would drive to work in Atlanta, I would listen to Howard every day. When I used to have to take a car to work, I would listen to Howard every day. I would listen to Howard when I had the mornings off, right? Because he was live in the morning. When I worked at night, I would wake up, listen to Howard, put on a little Howard, sometimes put on a little Morning Joe, doze in and out, and then get up and start my day. But I no longer have that schedule. So Howard makes hundreds of millions of dollars. It's probably worth more than Donald Trump. It's probably more liquid than Donald Trump. Brittany K01 says, Howard is talk radio. Damn Skippy. Cognitive decline and delusion. He is delusional because, and I'm going to tell, let me show you this, okay? Couple of videos. I'm going to do back to back. All right, here we go, okay? Nikki, I know. So let's do some of the seats at Trump's rallies.
Think of it. And he doesn't fight for you. He just votes the way the Democrats tell him to vote. This guy will be a leader, and he'll bring business back to your Commonwealth.
Okay, roll that same video again. Okay, well, you can play both of it, whatever you play.
And he doesn't fight for you. He just votes the way
look at all
the
the empty
Democrats
seats.
tell him
You
to
hear him
vote.
talking. Look at all those seats.
This guy will be a leader, and he'll bring business back to your
Okay. And then there's another one, right? Let's play the other one.
She wouldn't do that over again either. Maybe the worst of all, and something that a lot of people don't hear about because look at all the fake news. That's a lot of fake news.
See those seats, right? Okay, remember we're talking about cognitive decline and delusion. At these same rallies, this is Donald Trump, what he's saying. Listen to him closely. Remember, watch the empty seats. Remember the empty seats. Now listen to what he says.
We do a lot of these beautiful rallies, and it's so great. We never have an empty seat. Never have. Look at it, 100,000 people in Butler, more. Never have an empty. But they said, as you go on, you get angrier.
Cognitive decline and delusion. We never have an empty seat. Also, speaking of, we had the soundbite yesterday. I don't know if we had it, where he says, basically, I'm an honest person. I don't know if we have that one. If we do, play it. But if not, they laughed in his face when he said that because they know he's a liar. But this is him. He's on one of those broadcasts, right? And he's talking about Mike Pence on the broadcast. Now listen to what he says about his former own vice president that he hand-picked. Here it is.
Mike Pence, you got anything for Mike Pence?
Well, it's a shame because he and I had a very good
What happened to him?
relationship.
Hanging out somewhere.
He couldn't cross the line of doing what was right, in my opinion. Some
yeah.
people would disagree with that, but he had the right to go and put him before the legislatures and have them reassess because they found out a lot of bad things. And he had a lawyer that said he didn't have that right, but he did have that right. And you know why we found out that that was true? Because they changed the law after the election so that he couldn't do what I said he could do.
Yeah.
Okay? They changed the law so that a vice president could no longer do what I said he could do. So, in other words, I turned out to be right. But it's a shame. We had a very good relationship for 99.9% of the thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think he's a good man. I think he's a good
that's
man.
good.
Unfortunately, I wish he would have had the stamina, maybe courage, maybe both, to go further. Because we have to have honest elections in our country. And if we're afraid to challenge an election, we're in big trouble, you know?
A couple things here. Number one, cognitive decline and delusion. He sent a horde of people to the Capitol who said that they were going to kill Mike Pence. Remember, they had the hangman's thing, a noose outside. I mean, the evidence is there. The other thing is that, look, he did that podcast, and I'm sure it's gonna get a lot of views, right? But the reason he does it, right, and he's going after this crowd because he knows, seriously, there are millions and millions and millions of young men who are listening to these podcasts. And they are going to go out and vote for Donald Trump because they hear him here and they think he's relatable. And the guy who's interviewing him is just like, yeah, right, yeah, and then laugh, right? He does laugh at him about when he says he's basically an honest person. What does that mean? But it's just a laugh. There's no challenging, like, nobody said, well, you know, Mr. President, Mike Pence does not have the authority to overturn the election and to do what you said. And by the way, there's no, in the court, never said that. So all the folks who are watching him and go, yeah, this dude's cool, man. Oh, he's kind of funny. Okay. It's interesting too, because he talks about, again, his sort of mental decline, and people may think that, again, it's funny because he's going after this manosphere, right? Which I think will be very successful for him. I have to be honest. I think it's going to be. And then he relates stories, these like bro dude stories that's relatable to this crowd. One where he talks about his son, Don Jr. Here it is.
Are they, still become ambitious and successful?
So I do have good kids and 5 really wonderful children. And different, very different. Yeah, they are so different. But one thing that was in common that I always used to say when I was with them, or when they were leaving a room, I would drive them crazy. No drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes. I would say that.
Did you say that to Don Jr.?
Yeah, Don's a little wild. He's a wild. He can be a little tough.
He told me a funny story.
Go ahead.
Okay. I talked to a bunch of people. I was trying to, prepare for this interview.
Right.
He told me a funny story. And he said to me, he goes, once he asked if he could have a couple of his friends over for New Year's. Was it New Year? No, it was July 4th.
Right.
On top of Trump Tower.
Right.
And you said yes. He's like, I want 5 friends. You're like, okay, I'm out of town. Go for it. He brings 200 people over to Trump Tower. Okay?
That's right.
Okay. He says that you weren't supposed to be there. You end up showing up. You hear some noise upstairs. You come up. You go, what the fuck is everybody doing here? Get the hell out of my house. He said he cleaned for the next 36 hours. And he said, to this day, you have never brought up that it even happened. And he said, I'm starting to believe it might not have happened. Yeah. So
He said that's all it happened.
Can you give him closure?
No, it happened. No, I can never give closure. You can never forget.
So there you go. And right, so that will be relatable to a lot of people. But I mean, listen, Don Jr. Okay, whatever. This is when they laugh in his face when he said, basically, I'm an honest person. Here it is.
Hard time doing it to them because I'm basically a truthful person, but frankly,
my goodness. Oh, Mr. President, say something funny. Oh my God, I can't believe you're here. Okay, yeah, that is weird to me. Thank you very much, Tia Z. Like, wow, that was knee slapping. Man, I was like, wow, you guys, you're that happy? I mean, I like Kamala Harris, but I wouldn't be grinning in her face like that. Jesus, embarrassing. That is embarrassing. Okay, so the other thing is that I want to talk to you. So that is a strategy. That's the manosphere. That's the brosphere, right? And again, you may not like it, you may not agree with it, but I think it's going to be successful, okay, for him. And it is actually helping him get more voters, younger people, okay? So then, you guys know who Charles Blow is. Charles Blow is an opinion columnist or an op-ed columnist for the New York Times, also a contributor. He's been on this show, okay? And he's very honest. He is a Kamala Harris supporter. He is not a Donald Trump supporter. He has an op-ed out in the New York Times, and I'm just going to be honest with you. Here's what he said, right? And I think it's called like the post, she needs more than a post-joy strategy. Now, these are quotes from Charles Blow. Charles Blow says, the campaign doesn't need a post-joy strategy, but it definitely needs, in addition to joy, strategy. For me, that also extends into press strategy. The campaign, which has leaned heavily on influencers and entertainers, many of them providing friendly media venues in which Harris isn't pressed or challenged, is slowly and cautiously including more challenging settings, like her recent appearance on 60 Minutes. But our campaign must do more. Harris has to come down from the rally podiums for more personal interactions with individual voters. Okay. I said the same thing, and I agree 100% with Charles. You may not like it, but it's true. Again, Charles Blow, African-American man, supports Kamala Harris, is an op-ed writer for the New York Times. If Donald Trump were just to shut up for a few days, he would be elected president, but he just doesn't understand that, the pollster Frank Luntz told me last week. And he said, if Kamala Harris and Tim Walz would just get real with the American people, that would ensure their election. But they're too afraid. That's true. But what does get real mean for Harris? It means putting herself in position to make more meaningful connections with voters who are still on the bubble, what I call the final 5%, give or take, that I believe she'll need to win over to ensure a victory. Also true. As a Democratic strategist, Donna Brazile told me, you cannot reach people from a platform or a stage. Rather, you got to actually be in the neighborhoods and go tell the folks that you need help and you want their vote and listen. All right, just hold that up there for a second. Now, do you remember when we did our post-vice presidential debate show and I said, she's got to get out there, and I said, she's got to say, I'm not going to say everything right, I'm not going to be perfect. I got into this race late. For some reason, I was put here, God put me here to be in this position. But I'm going to get out there and I'm going to fight for you. That's what he's saying. And I need your help. I need you to give me a chance, is what I said. That's what Donna Brazile is saying. Donna Brazile is my homegirl from Louisiana. I worked with her at CNN. She is a good friend. She is one of the reasons I got such great access at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, because she wanted my voice to be heard, and listen to what she's saying. Vindictive Tiger, you're wrong on this. They act like Harris has never never run a successful campaign for election. It doesn't matter. She's never run for president before. That's a whole new thing. Okay? I'm going to read what Donna Brazile says. Again, as a Democratic strategist, Donna Brazile told me you cannot reach people from a platform or a stage. Rather, you got to actually be in the neighborhoods and go and tell the folks that you need help and you want their vote. And listen, that's true. Harris has run a remarkable race, one truncated by, same thing that I said, by the historic route by which she became her party's nominee. But now she must finish it in a way many longer campaigns begin, by prioritizing retail politics that win over the reluctant. And I will say, on top of that, thank you. That is from the great Charles Blow. I love Charles. That is to say that she has got to get real. And they have to, and you as well, folks, Kamala Harris supporters, Democrats, you got to get over this thing that Donald Trump is bad and that is going to get, that's what's going to cause him to lose, because that's not going to cause him to lose. People know it's already baked in that he's bad, he's terrible, he's all these things. People already know that. They know that about him. It's baked in, but he was president before and they survived it. People have a tendency to romanticize the past, right? And if you're living now and you got, the prices are high, even though they're coming down, inflation is coming down, all those things, it's good news for the economy. If you look, the economy is in good shape. But but people vote by their wallets, and they vote on feelings. If they feel you, they got to feel you. Like we felt Obama. We were like, yes, we can. I just said yes, but yes, we can. They felt him. And quite honestly, people felt Trump. His supporters felt him. I'm taking care of you. I'm going to erect that. I'm going to put up the border wall. He didn't never say erect, because I don't know if that's a word that he would even use. He would just say, we're going to build a wall. It's very simple, but it worked. So she's got to get out there, and Tim Walz is to get out there. I was watching the debate, and I'm like, Tim Walz, what are you doing? Where is the guy that said, you're just weird? Where's the guy who challenges, stop being so studied. Don't try to be Pete Buttigieg. You're not Pete Buttigieg. I know he was your debate coach. You're not Pete Buttigieg. You're not going to go and interview and do what Pete Buttigieg does. Or a debate. Go into a debate and an interview and do what Tim Walz does. That's why people liked you. Be that affable guy. All of those facts and stuff that you think that you have to remember, just say, what you just said was a lie, and let me tell you why it's a lie, and just go on and do your thing. And stop being so nervous and afraid and scared that you're going to say the wrong thing and you're going to screw it up, because that's how you're screwing it up. When people get afraid, when people become afraid and you think that everything has to be perfect, well, they always say, don't let perfect be the enemy of good, right? I think that's the right thing. Don't let perfect be the enemy of the good, because nothing is ever perfect. And that's why people get stalled, because they think the next thing they do has to be perfect or has to match exactly what they did before. Like when I started this, it was like, well, I thought, okay, it's got to be like the shiny set and whatever that I used to do and all the cameras going around the teleprompter. If I had gotten stuck there, I would never be doing this, because this is not that. This is something different. And so when you're doing something different, and you have to lean into it. I know that, and I'll say this, I've said it before, I know that the rules are different for people of color and especially for black women. She's a black woman. But because of how she was thrust into this race, I think that allows her to just, take the reins off and just go. Just lean in. Just do your shit. Just go and say, look, this is who I am. I'm no bullshit. Yeah, I put people in jail. I put the people in jail who deserve to be in jail. That's what I did. I'm a prosecutor. I'm strong on crime. So people in the hood, they want someone who's strong on crime. My grandmother, the old lady, Miss Johnson down the street, wants someone who's going to be tough on crime because she wants to walk down the street and she wants to feel safe. Is that too much to ask? No, I don't believe it's too much to ask. And that's what I did as a prosecutor. And if you were out there, whether you were black, white, Latino, whatever it is, if you did something bad, yeah, I put your ass in jail because you deserve to be in jail. So stop talking to me about that. I put people in jail just because they're black or whatever. That's all BS. You got to get out there and you got to lean in because this is your chance. And if you don't do it, if you stand there behind the teleprompter and it's like, we're not going back. We're not going back. It's okay. It's what I did with my friend Sonny. My friend Sonny Hostin, who is a marvelous success on The View now. Her career is like stratosphere, fantastic. She was stuck. She came to my office one day. She says, I'm stuck. I don't know. I don't like it here. I don't think they're giving me a chance. I don't know. And I just looked at her. I said, Sonny, what are you nervous about? Well, I can't do this and I don't want to do that. I said, why do you care? Lean in. What's the worst thing that could happen? You could lose. Okay. If you are stalled and stuck because you're listening and you're too buttoned up and you're listening to all the people around you are giving you advice, and you're like this. Okay, all right. You got it. Yeah. I'm trying to remember everything everybody told me to do and not to do. You got to go, that's bullshit. Okay, let me tell you something. All right? Then people are like, wow, let's go. There we go. People have got to feel you. So if you are a Kamala Harris supporter and you're here, I'm just telling you, the campaign has stalled. She's ahead in the polls, and now it's like this. The polls are like this. Now Donald Trump is ahead of her in the Sun Belt states and battleground states, right? Some of it's within the margin of error, but some of it's not. She's got to go out there. Don, did you lean in, Don, at CNN? Yes, I did lean in at CNN. I had a very successful career there. When I leaned in at CNN, you know what? When their ratings were the highest? When I was in prime time. You know when they were the most profitable? When I was in prime time. There are changes. Nothing lasts forever, and there are changes. So, yes, when I leaned in and I started to be me, that's when I became successful. Otherwise, I was just one of a group of people who are on the air reading the news. And I said, I'm not going to do this, wherever it takes me. They can be mad at me. They can get rid of me. They could fire me. They can yell at me. The black community might get mad at me. The white people might get mad at me. I said my shit. And I'm glad I did it. But the other thing is that when you're talking about the polls, like, all right, you cannot believe the polls or whatever. She's up in Virginia, but yeah, but the thing is, she's not up in Pennsylvania, in the places that matter. She's not up in Georgia. She's getting gained on in Michigan. North Carolina, she was up, not anymore. So I'm just saying, you guys have to be clear-eyed and you have to be steady and you have to be fair about it. But also, yes, the polling, you can't believe the polling every time, but look, there is some truth to it, obviously. The truth hurts, says Kristen Dewey. Too careful, too buttoned up. Thinking and studying the answers for far too long. The best answer I think she gave, if you come to my house, you're gonna get shot. Boom! That's what, not, listen, every American deserves to have a gun and that's our thing, but we need to be whatever. The people who shouldn't have guns shouldn't have them. And that's what we're gonna make sure happens, okay? I'm gonna make sure that happens. The folks who shouldn't have guns don't get them. End of story. Dose of reality. I'm always going to be truthful with you because if it continues this way, ain't going to happen. I know you hate to hear that, but that is true. Okay, so, but there's still time. There is still time. There's still almost a month to go. It's too polished, says Sino. Thank you. Keeping it real, says JD Bambara. Thank you very much. Can you bring VP Harris on your show, Don, says Deb Yvette. I've tried. Certain things maybe she's afraid. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe she thinks I'm too polarizing, too controversial. I don't know. But I would certainly give her a fair shot on this show. And I think if she did, I think the headlines, I think it would make tons of news that she could coast off forever and say, yeah, I did this, yeah, I said this, yeah, I said this, yeah, you know, Don, whatever. I remember him CNN, he did town halls, whatever. I don't know what happened to him over there, but I've always liked what he had to say, whatever. Like, there's always a way to work it. But you can't be scared. And also, you have to look at the people around you. Or the people around you who are running, who are producing you, who are running you, do they know you? Are they like you? Or they not like us? They not like us. They not like us. Look around you. Who's running your campaign? If they ran a campaign before, was it successful? Do they know what it's like in America? The people who have your ear, do they know, except for reading or being adjacent to it, do they know what it's like to be a black woman in America? Do they know what it's like to be of Indian descent in America? Do they know? Or are they just people who have run campaigns before that are just like every other campaign? This campaign is not like every other campaign. Your campaign is not that way. They not like us. Okay, so speaking of, wow, so last night, there's still time. Okay, so last night was fantastic, and I'm just going to show you why it was fantastic. But before that, I'm just going to show there is a sort of political part to this. I was with Pharrell last night. I mean, not like the entire night, but I was with him. I went to his premiere, and I also hung out with him at an after party, right? And but before we get to that, I just want to show you what Pharrell, the great Pharrell, had to say about Trump in a speech. See if you agree with him, and then I'll take you to last night. Here it is.
Great again is code.
Yeah. No, it's not code. It's blatant. Have you seen that rally?
Yeah.
Man, it made me not want to wear red, white, and blue for a while. That rally.
Yeah.
The things that were being said. Those T-shirts. I mean, when you see some of the things that are being said, not just about my culture, but about women. And I'm telling you, I've had my fair share of songs that would make some of you lift an eyebrow, but it was in the spirit of dancing. It was in the spirit of like having fun. And I've had 60 and 70-year-old women come up to me and tell me, you know, I like that, drop it like it's hot. There's some other people out there, and we know where they're coming from too. And I'm praying that women come together and save this nation. When you think about the destructive things that have come from mankind, mostly men, it's not women that are running up in our schools shooting our kids up. And it's just on the line. It's on the line right now. It's crazy, the men that say some of the things that they say and do some of the things that they do. They forget how much women have to carry. But we're at a place in time where people say things, and you'll see women supporting that. It ain't just men on that trail following that guy. It's women out there too, blinded. Think about the other side and where that's going. So we have to make a decision. Are we going to let this other situation take over and remind us of what great used to be? Are we going to do that? Or are we going to redefine great?
Are we going to redefine great? That's a word right there. Okay, so last night, this is the movie I went to see, all right? A little clip of it, just a little bit.
Set.
Hey, Pharrell.
Hey, how you doing, man? You know, it'd be cool is if we told my story with Lego pieces.
Seriously?
Yes.
Lego.
Just be open.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
All right, good. So there we go. We're not going to play because, again, they'll demonetize us if we play too much of the music. But the movie was fantastic. I was like, okay, I'm going to go see a Lego movie. They sent the invitation. I'm like, okay, I'll go. I took my Chris, my social media producer, because he's like a movie guy, and he's like, hey, we'll get some people on the red carpet and blah, blah, blah. So it was really fun. But it was fantastic. I thought, I was like, okay, I'm not much for animation. like sitting in a theater for me for a long time. I'm like, my expectations were just, it excelled past my expectations. I'm telling you, it's a great, really fantastic movie. And every single person who's in the movie represented, like every single artist that he's worked with, every single artist he's worked with, from Jay-Z to Pink, or like every one of them. Gwen Stefani, they're all depicted as, Legos. The entire movie's Legos. Oprah's in there. Who else is in there? Like everybody's in there. And so it was just amazing. And I got to meet like all of the folks who were in the movie. This is me and Pharrell hanging out. This was, where was this before? Yeah, that was just before the premiere, just before going on the red carpet, and there was the band there and everything. And so he's such a nice guy. And I said to him, people send me pictures all the time. I don't think I look like him. I said, but if one more person calls me Pharrell, I'm going to have $1 million. And we just kind of laughed. And then I used to tell the story about Trevor Noah. For some reason, I wish I looked like Trevor Noah. When people are like, I would walk out of events like this and people would say, Trevor, can I get your autograph? And I'm like, okay. So I got tired of it and I just started writing my name, and I guess they figure out like, wait, that's not Trevor. But last night I get to the after party and one of the producers of the movie said, hey, Trevor. I'm like, I'm not Trevor. Maybe they just think, that's my name. Who knows? But it was really amazing. So I don't know if you guys know Bevy Smith. You may not know her, but Bevy Smith is a New York institution. She is the original influencer. She created influencers. That's what Bevy does. And she brings people together all the time, different groups. When my first book where I came out, Bevy Smith is the one who threw the party with everyone who came, and she asked me at the Red Rooster up in Harlem. And so this after party was amazing. This is us getting down last night. We had so much fun. So that's when I had my 3 margaritas too many, but it was really great. And so I would urge you all to get out and see this movie. I don't do that a lot because, movies, but this is Pharrell's story about how he came to prominence from his childhood up until today, the challenges he's faced. It was just a great, great movie. So I say watch it. Even if they demonetize us, we have to clip it out. I'm just telling you, it's a really great movie. So I'll leave you with that, except for this one thing. Because what Pharrell said about women aren't going to our schools and shooting them up or whatever. And I always say, if you want to get something done, hire a woman, right? The one who really runs the show around here is Nikki, right? Without Nikki, we couldn't get on the air. We wouldn't have a show. And so I always believe that my executive producer over at CNN was a woman. My senior producer was a woman. The head writer was a woman. My personal assistant initially was a woman. Like everybody on the team, women. So, and they get shit done. And so I like that, and I like Girl Dad. So I'm going to leave you with this. So I'd say hit the thumbs up, please, before you get out of here. Hit the thumbs up, hit the like. Make sure you subscribe. And I'm not going to come back after this, so I'll just play you. This is Girl Dad and Girl Power, and have a great day. I'll see you live at 5 o'clock.
My brothers, if there's ever a time in history where we're supposed to make sure that we're standing up for our women in history.
Daddy, ta-da!
Yes, it looks great. We need to make sure that we do that now. We need to make sure that we are with our women and we're doing our best to stand up, not just for them, with them, behind them, in front of them. Okay?
We need this.
The time is now.
Hey, Daddy, when you take your food?
Can I get the birds on my cheek?
Yeah.
That'll be great. So yeah, make sure that we stand up for our women. For real.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure you hit the like button. It helps us with the algorithm. And also, we'd love for you to become a subscriber. So hit that button too. We're live every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Eastern, so there's plenty of content for you to check out.